James here from Guitarist.com, and in today's lesson, I'm going to show you how to play Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. Let's just take a quick look at what we'll be learning today. So this is a huge song. It's like 10 songs in one. And in today's lesson, I'm going to teach you everything up into and including the guitar solo. And then in a subsequent lesson, we'll pick up from there. Because realistically, when you're learning a song like this, you wouldn't sit down and learn it in one session. This is one of those things that you're going to want to break up. Take some time to really digest the material. So we're going to get started with the intro. We begin with an E minor 7 chord. So I have E minor, and then I add my pinky to the 3rd fret of the B string. And we just strum it with the down strum. Is this the real life? And then I'm going to leave my middle finger down, A7. Is this just fantasy? And from there, we're just going to move this whole shape down and add our index finger to the 1st fret of the B string to get a D7 chord. Caught in a landslide. No, a G from reality. And if this is going a little too quick for you, I have a free ebook that'll help you with all the fundamentals, the chords, the chord switching, and all that stuff, because this is definitely a much more challenging song. And I recommend learning things that kind of will help you build up to this first. And there's a method for that. Check out that free ebook, link down below. Either way, open your eyes. Look, here's a G7 chord. So for that, I'm putting my ring finger on the 3rd fret of the thickest string, my index on the thinnest string at the 1st fret, up to the skies, and now we start with our strumming. Our strumming pattern for this song is really basic. It's so that's down, root, down, down, up. And that beat 2, that R or root, is just a really small downstroke, you know? It's barely audible in some cases, and it's just there to add some dynamics, right? Versus going like, you know, that doesn't really feel as good as like. So let's just break that down. We count 1, 2, 3, 4. On beats 1 and 2, we have down, root. So a full downstroke and a small downstroke. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on beats 3 and 4, 1, 2, down, down, up. So a down on 3 and then a down up, kind of like thinking about it like one unit on beat 4. Down, root, down, down, up. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you need more help with that, I'll put a link to a lesson down below where I cover some strumming and rhythm stuff. I love teaching rhythm, so if you're having trouble with that, I definitely got you covered. Anyways, from this point on, I'm just going to write out the chords here. You can see that we have some pretty basic chords for the most part: C, A minor, D7, just playing our strumming pattern 2 times on each one. But then we have easy come, easy go. And there's our first taste of the extra stuff that we have to learn in order to play a song like Bohemian Rhapsody. Because believe me, I tried to simplify this as much as possible, and this is as simple as we get. Luckily, if you're familiar with the easy F chord that I teach often on this channel, just a refresher here. Our index finger goes on the 1st fret of the B string, middle finger on the 2nd fret of G, our pinky goes on the 3rd fret of D, and our ring finger just above that on the 3rd fret of the A string. Our thumb is lightly touching the thickest string. Thinnest string is also muted. This shape is going to carry us far in this song. Right here where it says G sharp, that's the 4th fret. So you just line up your index with the 4th fret, and you're just going 4, 3, 2, 1. My eyes are on my index the whole time. Easy come, easy go, little high, little low. And then it's back to strumming. G over B, we just play a G chord with our ring and pinky on the top 2 strings on the 3rd fret, our index finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, but we're not playing the thickest string. My index finger is lightly touching the underside of that string, muting it. And then B flat diminished. Oh my gosh, it's actually not too bad. Our index is on the 2nd fret of the A string. We're gonna bring it down 1 fret and then put our middle finger on the 2nd fret of D and our ring finger on the 2nd fret of G. And guess what? That's the same fingering that we used for A7. So we have our G over B chord. We bring our index down and then we add the A7 shape to that. This is called B flat. That's why it's a B flat diminished 7. It's actually a half diminished, but we're not gonna get too crazy about it. And we just strum that chord. The top string is muted, thickest string is muted. And then D7 over A. And that's just a D7 chord, but our thickest string is A, so we mute the thickest string of the whole guitar. Get the top 5 strings. And now I'm gonna play everything that we've learned so far, just so you can see how it all goes together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. Open your eyes, look up to the skies and see. I'm just a poor boy, I need no sympathy. Some easy come, easy go, little high, little low. Anyway the wind blows, doesn't really matter to me. And normally I'd like to do something like that with a metronome, but this song really flexes the time. It's called rubato, when you are really like letting the song breathe. So I recommend just using the words, is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? The words kind of go with it. Little high, little low. It lines up 100% with the words, right? Anyways, moving on, the next thing I want to take a look at is this little piano-like interlude. And that's pretty straightforward in terms of the chord shape. We're just putting our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the thickest string, and our pinky is ready to play the 3rd fret of the B string, but it doesn't do that at the start. And then we pick from starting at the thickest string, then we skip to the D string, all the way up to the thinnest, right? With the rhythm, 1 and 2 and 3. And then on the and of 3, we pluck the thickest string again, and then we pluck the B string, but we're putting our pinky down to the 3rd fret. And that, when When we're plucking the thickest string the second time, that's optional. You know, it's a bit of a string skip to come back to it. You're welcome to ignore it. Either way, that's all there is to it. You can just see that, take your time with it, count along. We play it 2 times just for a little break, and then we start strumming our verse. The chords for the verse are right here, and it starts off with some pretty basic stuff, you know, just doing our strumming pattern on like G, E minor, A minor, D. Pretty straightforward, but then we have this part. So let's break that down. We have A minor, and we just strum it once, going 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to put my middle finger on the 4th fret of the thickest string, and I play 4, 3 with the rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. So very simple rhythm-wise. And then I move my middle finger down to the 2nd fret. This is why we used our middle finger for this. And I'm going to make the A minor shape with my index and my ring and pinky. It's still the A minor shape, but it feels a little weird because we're using different fingers. Our middle finger's still on that 2nd fret, and we strum that. It gives you A minor over F sharp, and then 1, 0, and you can just see the rhythm that's on beat 1 and 3. So rhythmically, this is pretty simple. It's just a matter of getting used to that one shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it's some more strumming. C and G over B share a measure. So we just go down, down, up, down, down, up on each of them, just doing the second half of our strumming pattern. And there's one other thing. At the end of this verse, you'll notice an F minor chord. And for that, we're just going to strum this little guy right here. Our index finger is on the 1st fret of the G string. Our pinky is on the 3rd fret of the D string, and our ring is just above it on the 3rd fret of the A string. Those are the same 2 fingers that we use on easy F. We're just taking our easy F and kind of adapting it, putting our index on the 1st fret of G. And we're not going to play our strumming pattern with this, so we can just focus on a gentle strum on those 3 strings. We don't need to worry about muting the other strings. It's nice if you can do it, but just a little strum. And then, you know, you'll notice there are certain chords where we're just strumming them, and we've marked those out, and that's where we just strum and count. All right, here we go. Let's play through this now. And I am going to use a metronome for this part because it is a bit more straightforward. 128 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just killed a man, put a gun against his head, pulled my trigger, now he's dead. Mama, life had just begun. Here we go. Now I've gone and thrown it all away. Mama, didn't mean to make you cry. If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on, 'cause if nothing really matters. And now we'll repeat our verse again, and we're just going to cut a few measures off the end. You can see right there. And that leads us into our guitar solo. We start off in a pretty simple way, just some chords and strumming. I'll write out the chords here. But at the end, once again, we have some cool riff stuff. It goes like this. And that works us into the really cool a cappella-ish part. That's its own lesson for sure. But anyways, let's just take a look at what we have in the solo here. We start on D minor, and we're just strumming it on beat 1. 1, 2, 3, and then on beat 4, I'm going to play the 4th fret of the A string with my ring finger, and then the 3rd fret, also with my ring finger, 2, 1. You know, we're just descending straight up. 4, 3, 2, 1. But as far as the fingering is concerned, our ring finger is covering the 4th and the 3rd fret. And as far as the timing goes, let's just count that out. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And continuing on from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the open A string on beat 4. And then we're going to go 4, 3 on the thickest string. And then we land on the 2nd fret of the thickest string for our next section. And once we play the 2nd fret of the thickest string, we're going to add this little triad to the top. And you could just use the easy F chord, 1 fret higher, or you could play those 3 notes just in a row, 4th fret, 3rd, 2nd fret of the D, G, and B strings. Totally up to you. And that leads us into our bridge. So let's just count out that whole D minor thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And notice I'm releasing the pressure from this one. And I am going to teach this because this is technically the start of the next section, and we're going to learn that in part 2 for this lesson. But it's really important to kind of practice a little bit into the next section. That way, when you learn the next section, you already have that transition. You know, because the problem with learning songs in parts is sometimes that little gap between the parts needs to get filled, right? Obviously, learning songs in parts is the strongest way to learn it. You know, if you just start at the beginning and try to get all the way to the end, you're going to get really good at the first 8 measures of the song, and you're never going to actually be good at like the other bits, right? That's why we learn them in parts on this channel. Anyways, when it comes to putting this all together, I have a full song playthrough on my website available for members. I'll put a link for that down below, and you can preview the next part because it does have the whole thing there. Otherwise, we are going to cover the rest of this tune in an upcoming lesson. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. That way you'll be notified. And if you just enjoy learning guitar with me, you know, I'd really appreciate if you could just take a moment to subscribe, like the video, say hi in the comments. Don't forget to grab your copy of my free ebook. And if you're interested in getting my all access pass where you can access all my courses, all my YouTube bonuses, like this full playthrough. I have a bunch of worksheets, stuff like that. My community where you can ask me questions directly. That's all available down below. You can find out more information about that. Otherwise, have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you soon.